Excuse me. All right, guys, so I'm just going to record the answer key for this SAT practice slope and equations of lines number 1, okay? Just because I want you to know how to do it, but it's going to take too long to try and do it individually. So this first one, line T is shown in the plane below. What's the slope? So what I would say is this. The College Board allows you about a minute and a quarter or a minute and a half per question, depending on the section, okay? So you've got to realize that a lot of these questions should be able to be solved pretty easily, right? Now, what most of you try to do is use the points they give you to find the slope, which is fine, that works. And if you're good at it, you can do it quickly. But there's, I sort of stress, there's always an easier way. So remember, what we did in class was we picked 2 points, and those are at corners, right? So one's at the corner of one of the boxes, and other one's at one of the corner of the boxes, which happens to be the y-intercept. So if we go whoop, whoop, up to whoop, 2, 3, 4, 5, the rise over run is 2 over 5. I didn't even have to do any calculations, okay? Next one, the graph of a line in the xy plane passes through 1, 4 and crosses the x-axis at 2, 0. The line crosses the y-axis at 0, b. What's the value of b? So for this one, right, they give you 2 points. So you might want to find the equation of the line, right? So I'm going to find the slope, 4 minus 0 over 1 minus 2, and that's negative 4, okay? Now, if I plug that into point slope, and I'm not giving myself enough room, I'm going to plug in my point and my slope. Y minus 4 equals negative 4x plus 4. And then if I add 4 to both sides, I get y equals negative 4x plus 8. So b is equal to 8. So remember, they gave you 2 points, okay? If you're given 2 points, you can find the line and the slope. And then they're really just asking you, what's the y-intercept, right? That's the question, because x is equal to 0. All right, next one. Most of you got this one right. A partially filled pool contains 600 gallons of water. They turn the hose on and the water flows in at 8 gallons a minute. How many gallons of water will be in after 70 minutes? So y equals mx plus b. So we have y equals 8x plus 600. Y equals 8 times 70 plus 600, which is 1,160 gallons. And I just put gallons in parentheses because on the test you'd have to fill it into the free response, so you wouldn't have to have units. All right, problem 4. In the plane above, line L is parallel to line K. What's the value of P? So this is just a simple comparison problem, right? So line L, the slope is 2 minus 0 over 0 minus negative 5, which is 2/5, okay? It's the same slope. These are going to have to be the same, right? So on top I have 0 minus negative 4 over P minus 0. So that gives me 4 over P, okay? So 2 over 5 equals 4 over P. And notice they multiplied by 2 on the top, so we just multiply by 2 on the bottom to get our answer, P equals 10. And that would give us the same slope. All right, the graph of the linear function has intercepts at a0 and 0b. If a plus b is 0 and a does not equal b, which of the following is true about the slope? So basically, I would try numbers, right? So a equals 1, b equals negative 1, right? Those add to 0, but they're not the same. So here would be 1, 0, and down here would be 0, negative 1. And if we draw a line, that has a positive slope, okay? That works. Well, how about if A was -2 and B was +2? So the x-intercept would be at -2, 0, and the y-intercept would be at 0, 2. And if you notice, these lines have positive slope, okay? All right, next one. The graph of which of the following equations is perpendicular to the graph of the equation above? Well, if we use our formula from the standard form, okay, we get negative 2/3, which is 2/3. So the slope here is 2/3, right? These are in standard. I mean, this is technically not in standard form, but the formula works nonetheless. Okay. And which of the following equations is perpendicular? So we're looking for a -3/2 slope. Well, I can already look. These three aren't going to work. You know, if I'm doing it in my head, I have -a/b, -3/2. So it's got to be A, since these guys are negative reciprocals. Okay, same idea with problem 7. Okay, which of the following equations represents a line parallel to y = -3x + 4? So the slope here is -3, so we're looking for a -3 slope. So if you're looking down and you know the -a/b formula, you know that's -1/3, this is 2/3, this is +3, and this one, if we use the formula, right, we get -6/2, which is -3. And that is parallel, right, because they have the same slope. I'm going to come back to 8 for a second. Go to 10. These are easy ones. Most of you got these. Okay, so we have a total cost of renting a boat by hour, time on the x-axis, and total cost on the y-axis. Okay, the c-intercept, what does that represent? So the c-intercept is right here, and that's when time is 0. So when time is 0, that would be an initial cost, right? So initial cost of renting the boat, right? A flat fee. Okay. Then the next one says, what's the relationship between H and C? Okay, and they give us linear equations. Okay, so we can get this out of the way. Actually, no, I don't want to immediately get it out of the way, but okay, so they already see up here that the C-intercept is 5. So actually, we can knock these two out, right? Because the y-intercept, or the c-intercept in this case, is 5. Now all we need to do is find the slope. So we go 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, find the slope, and that's B. Okay. Problem 9. A line in the xy plane passes through the origin, has a slope 1/7. Which of the following points lies on the line? Well, this is an easy one to get the equation of, right? The y-intercept is 0. Slope is 1/7. So this is the point. Which of the following points is on the line? Well, the only one that works is D, right? If I plug in 14 for x and 2 for y, it equals out. The first one, 7 equals 1/7 times 0. That doesn't work. 7 equals 1/7 times 1. That doesn't work. 7 equals 1/7 times 7. That doesn't work. So it's got to be the last one. So the reason I gave this to you is because, excuse me, you have to apply basically all the stuff we learned, right? Slope formula, slope from a graph, finding the equation of a line. This is why it's so important to get in the habit of making equations of lines, okay? Because if you can write an equation, okay, it might not give you the answer right away, or maybe it's not the right thing to do, but you have a strategy instead of saying, I don't know what to do, right? You have your y = mx plus b. You have your point slope, okay? You have your slope formula, You know how to get things in slope-intercept form, or use the standard form formula, okay? All right, now to problem 8. This is the one people don't like the most. So they give you this graph of f of x, okay? The graph of the linear function g is perpendicular to this and passes through 1, 3. What's the value of g of 0? So it's a lot, right? What are they even asking? So they give you a line, right? Just find the equation of this line first, okay? Don't do anything crazy, right? So I'm going to go up 1, 2, and to the left 1. So the f of x equals negative 2x, right? The slope's negative 2. The y-intercept they give me is 3, okay? So that's the equation of this line. Now they said g is perpendicular and passes through 1, 3, okay? So we don't have g, so we need to find g. We know it's perpendicular, so g of x equals 1/2 x plus b, all right? It passes through 1, 3. So again, if I do y minus y1 equals m times x minus x1, all right, this is for g of x. My slope is 1/2. It passes through 1, 3. Okay. Then I put this in slope-intercept form. Okay. So this is g of x right here. Okay. And what's the value of g of 0? Well, g of 0 would be when x is 0. But they're really just asking for the y-intercept. So it would be 5/2. So if I plug 0 in for x in this equation, I get 5/2. Okay? So it's all about finding equations, okay? Equations of lines, using your point slope, using parallel perpendicular, all those things that you know, okay, come into play. Okay? So that's just the answer key, and I hope you guys have a wonderful